Members of the Board and Executive Committee, I am here today to address the broken trust and lack of transparency with parents, teachers, and students due to the implementation of restorative justice practices in Hamilton County schools. My name is Jessica Perkins. I am a former teacher with the district, a mother of 2 children, and a bonus mom to 2 more. About 7 years into my decade of teaching with Hamilton County, restorative justice practices were implemented. Teachers were no longer given authority to give meaningful consequences for student misconduct. Administrators or other school personnel would take the child on a walk, give them a snack, and return them to class. Students quickly recognized that they weren't getting in trouble anymore. They became smug and disrespectful. Did you know restorative justice started in the prison system? It was never meant to be in schools. What does restorative justice look like in schools? According to edutopia.org, restorative justice is not a behavior management technique. Instead, focusing on taking time to build relationships with students, which is not a bad thing on the surface. This article goes on to say, in turn, we're able to humanize ourselves with our students by shifting from transactional relationships, i.e., I'll use restorative practices if you change your behavior, to authentic relationships, i.e., I'll use restorative practices as a way to strengthen our connection. Either way, these are Marxist beliefs. By following this practice, you are asking teachers to reason with students and use the power of their relationship to coerce them into correcting their behavior. This is manipulation and has not been effective for long-term change. When those in authority of the child put themselves as equals in the relationship, they set themselves up for failure. Their assumption is that the relationship will hold weight in how the student reacts. This is wrong. By following this practice, it is giving the child the ability to say, no, I don't want to change, and why should I, since there are no consequences for my choices? Authority figures have put themselves in a power struggle and lost. In addition, the other students are watching. When situations are handled this way, it sends a clear message that disrespect is tolerated. Just today, an article was published on townhall.com asking if restorative practices really work. In the article, the author states, public schools across our county have adopted restorative practices to manage student discipline, claiming these policies restore the relationship between the victim and bully while lowering the racial student discipline disparities. The reality is that parents fear sending their children to school due to safety concerns, and teachers are fed up with the lack of support from administration when they must discipline students. She goes on to explain restorative circles. The goal of these circles is to talk through the incident from the perspective of the bully. The author continues by explaining that the desired outcome is for the bully and the victim to reconcile. However, this only works if the bully actually cares about their victim's feelings. In the Code of Acceptable Behavior and Discipline, our superintendent, Justin Robertson, wrote a letter to Hamilton County school families saying we must have a safe and secure learning environment where all students feel welcome and included. He also stated we expect excellence and have high expectations for how students conduct themselves in the school environment. How are victims feeling safe and secure when those who bullied them are still roaming the halls? When safety is a student's primary concern at school, student rights are being violated. Currently, there is no relief from bullying. There is no relief from disrespect. There is no hope of change. These things have created unnecessary anxiety and depression among students and teachers. These practices have proven to be ineffective and have restored nothing. Instead of spending your proposed $5 million to seed coaches by putting a Band-Aid on a gaping wound, the core issues need to be addressed. Responsibility taken and consequences given for actions, regardless of sex, race, color, creed, religion, national origin, or disabilities. Seed coaches will not solve school behavior problems because their goal is to continue using the same ineffective restorative justice practices. Instead of wasting taxpayers' money, why not use that money to give teachers a much-needed raise, update decrepit facilities, and so much more? Hold students accountable for the COAB. Right now, it is a joke on paper. Only then will you start to see safer schools, happier students, and teachers who are able to do their job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins.